What's up, everybody? This is Connor Williams for the Los Angeles Rams running back, and I'm tuned in with the Fantasy Football Counselor.
Hey guys, it's Tajay Spears, Tennessee Titans running back, and you listen to the Fantasy Football Counselor.
Welcome to the show, guys. First week is here. This is your very important and crucial starts and sits episode. On the show, we've got Jim, a.k.a. The Maverick. What's happening? Jim, football is back, man.
Hey, are you ready for some football? Let's do this.
Jim's got the energy today. We are pumped. Guys, make sure you guys turn on the bell. We're going to be here every single Thursday morning, giving you the breakdown here on the matchups, on the spreads, and all the optimal players for each matchup. So how we're gonna lay this out is very simple. We're gonna go matchup by matchup, giving you the latest news and notes at the beginning. Matchup by matchup, giving you all the players you should start and sit, getting you guys up to date for the season. Now, if you guys want this delivered to you on a silver platter and have a chance to ask me questions, right now is a chance to join the fantasy front lines. Patreon.com/FF Counselor, where I deliver this to you on a silver platter. And I open up an actual starts and sits Q&A. Guys, for the generals in there, there's generals, privates, and captains. You definitely want to be in the captain and general tier, and you get all this delivered for the in-season action, guys. Get in right now. The draft is done, but the action and the fun starts right now in the Patreon group, patreon.com/FF Counselor. Jim, I'm ready to rock here. We're going to go matchup by matchup here, discuss what's going on, go over the spreads, and then talk about kind of who to start, who to sit. And again, start off with breaking news. There's so much to cover, Jim. Are you pumped up? The energy's high, dude. Finally, it's here. Finally, it's here today.
Yeah, it is. It's I can't believe it. We've been talking about it for so long, and it's happening. And then before you know it, it's going to be February. We're going to be like, what are we supposed to do now?
Yeah, that's a rough patch then for sure. We don't want February to roll around. After the Super Bowl, it's like, oh, we got that. But we're still doing fantasy all year round. So make sure you guys do smash it, tap it, hit the thumbs up. Real quickly, let's talk with the latest news and notes here. It's Breaking Brad. Breaking Brad, where are you?
We now have breaking news.
Couple things I want to highlight, things that are important here at the time of this recording. You guys are getting this Thursday morning, and again, people are going to be watching this throughout the entire weekend as we get up to the NFL Week 1 here. I just read right now, James Conner is the bell cow in that running back room, according to offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. That's really annoying. I mean, I'm a big Trey Benson guy. Conner sucks. He's had 1,000-yard rushing season. It was his best year last year. They drafted the top prospect running back who led the league in college in broken tackles, who led all running backs to broken tackles. The guy's an absolute monster in Trey Benson. They're saying that he's the future, but as of right now, Conner's a starter. What do you think of that, Jim? That's a little bit annoying to me, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's a lot of these older players. Aaron Jones is another one. These guys that are over the age cliff, they get decline anytime. They're probably going to look good for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season,
right,
and then they're just going to fall away. That's what I see is happening with players like James Conner. He's probably going to look pretty good this weekend. I'm not going to deny it. I think he's going to be a great start, but would I want to hold this guy on my team for the season? I don't, man. Injury risk, age risk, there's just too much there. So, but he should be fine this weekend.
Too much going on. Yeah, he might get the start initially and then look for Trey Benson to dive in. A couple other news. We're going to rapid fire here. We got so much to cover matchup by matchup. So let's rip through it. Again, smash it, tap it, slap it. We got Marquise Brown's shoulder did not participate or practice on Tuesday. Something to, again, I've got no stock in Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice, Worthy should be taking the reins there. A.J. Brown was resting this past week a little bit. Romeo Doubs had some issue with his hand. He should be good to go. I'm still a believer in Romeo Doubs. Jahmyr Gibbs owners, you need to be aware that he was just a little tweak according to Jahmyr Gibbs, and then he's ready to go for week 1. I'm hoping, Jim, this does not linger for Jahmyr Gibbs fans, man. I really do, right?
That's always the risk. It's always the risk, and you don't want it to happen, and I hope he's fine. I think he's fine. It sounds like it was a pretty minor sprain to begin with, and he's had like over a month here to rehab it. So I think he's going to be okay, but yeah, there is always that risk of re-injury. So
Christian McCaffrey ready, returned to practice this week. He's ready to go first week. Again, I feel this is the beginning of the end for him. We'll see how maybe this was just his injury for the year and he's good to go all year, but I really, really doubt Christian McCaffrey finishes the season this year. Your guy, Marshawn Lloyd, a guy that I like, even kind of like not too happy on. Marshawn Lloyd hamstring was spotted on a stationary bike during practice. I think this guy's going to be a major thorn in the side of Josh Jacobs. You don't feel as much
Not
that
for a
way.
while.
Yeah.
Not for a while. I mean, he's been injured for most of training camp, and he's still dealing with this. It's a hamstring, man. Those things suck. It seems like it's a more severe sprain than whatever, Jahmyr Gibbs got. So if he comes in, it's going to be like week 4, and he's probably not even going to make a splash till week 8. He's a guy you should keep on your bench, but I don't think he's going to be startable for the first half of the year.
Sam Laporta, ready to go. Hamstring issue, ready to play week 1. Alvin Kamara dealing with some contract extension issues. I believe he's going to play, but he's, said he doesn't want to discuss the contract extension during the season. I guess, he'll take what he gets. Jaylen Warren also hamstring. These hamstrings are everywhere, man, with Gibbs to Laporta to Warren and on and on and on. He has been practicing, so he's optimistic to play week 1. And Kyle Pitts has been the most impressive catcher of the group in terms of volume plus ability, according to sources here. So again, Kyle Pitts, years to wow us. We're not wowed. Going to be interesting to see how that goes. And finally, I do want to talk about this at the time of this recording. I don't know whether this has been, solidified by time, when we record this the day before to when you guys get it on 7 a.m. on Thursday, but Ja'Marr Chase apparently might, again, there's talk about him possibly missing week 1 due to contract issues. And we kind of talked about this, right, Jim? We talked about this in the offseason with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, it's a risk. I think he's gonna play, right? I think he's gonna play. But if he doesn't, Jermaine Burton is a start this weekend. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But for right now, I think he'll play. I mean, he's under contract. He still has 2 years left on his contract. He's going really early for this extension. And that's kind of throwing a monkey wrench in things because, basically the Bengals have already committed all their dollars to this season. They probably just don't have the dollars on the cap space to pay him what they want to pay him. And he's going to get paid. I mean, he's going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL when he gets his contract. That's a guarantee. So, it's like, just be patient. The bag is there. You're going to get it. It's just, you might not get it now. It might be, next season when you finally get it, but you're still under contract. You still got to play.
Yeah, I didn't like how Ja'Marr Chase came out and said, I got to get paid, a penny more than Jefferson. Like, it's just egos and like, it just, I don't know, man. Like, he's been
Are you surprised, man? Come on. Come on. Receivers are the biggest divas of all of fantasy of football. They are. I'm not surprised.
Well, thank you, Breaking Brad. Thank you.
We now have breaking news.
All right, let's get to these matchups here. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys smash the tab side and join the front lines. Patreon.com/FF Counselor for in-season amazing action, amazing community, guys. Join the front lines. All right, first matchup here is a Thursday nighter tonight. Baltimore versus KC. KC -3 favorite. This is where, the tire meets the road, man. This is it. Like, there's a lot of stock, obviously, in Flowers, a lot of stock in Lamar Jackson, a lot of stock in Pat Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Pacheco. We're going to take a look and observe Carson Steele. If you got Carson Steele on your bench, probably not a good week to start him. But again, I'm saying that, and he comes out and gets like 3 rushing touchdowns near the goal line for all we know. But Carson Steele's that back up there. They were saying he's going to get the red zone work. We're going to really monitor the situation. Is Kelce going to, continue with his role as the, tight end 1? He's obviously a must start this week. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. Again, no suspension for Rice as far as we know, right, Jim? I mean, we're good. And we're going to watch the distribution here between Rice and Worthy and Kelce and Pacheco. It's going to be interesting to watch. It is going to be an explosive game, and KC is the -3 favorite here. What are your thoughts on this game, and who are you starting?
Yeah, I mean, you want to start everyone you can on this offense. I do like the idea of starting Xavier Worthy this weekend with no Hollywood Brown. That really opens up the door for him to have a lot of deep work. And, with Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball, it could be very explosive, very exciting. So I'm excited to see what happens there. But yeah, all the studs you're going to start. I mean, these are good players on all sides. Pretty much everyone's healthy right now, so that's also really good. Over under 46.5 points. This should be a high scoring game. So yeah, this is wheels up on all these players. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, KC at home again. 47, like I said, 47. I think is the over under, give or take. Favorite KC. You could take Baltimore here to cover, but there's always that risk with KC coming back. They're trying to make a three-peat. No, it's going to be a high-flying game, and I'm glad this is the Thursday nighter to kick off the season. A lot of fantasy relevance as well, so it's going to be ultra exciting. So again, we don't know kind of who's got the optimal matchups completely yet at this point, because the first 2 to 3 weeks is feeling out because we don't know how the defenses are. Maybe a defense comes out and absolutely tears it up 2 weeks and you're like, man, they've got a tough matchup versus position. They're stopping the run heavily. We're really based on last year, and so many things change based on last year. So we're not 100% on optimal matchups yet. That's going to come over the next couple weeks as we start solidifying, the positions, rosters. But as of right now, if you drafted them, have convictions in your players, start them. Okay. But we will highlight some guys that do have tough matchups as we go along here. Okay. Green Bay versus Philly. Let's move on to this matchup here, Jim. Again, a lot of fantasy relevance here. We're going to watch the distribution between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. AJ Brown probably in line for some touchdowns. And I've got a lot of stock here. This is the Friday game, I believe. I got a lot of stock in Saquon Barkley, and from what I'm hearing in camp, did phenomenal. So Jacobs, Barkley, something to monitor, very high draft capital guys. And then another very, very important thing, and I'm glad that this is kind of a standalone game, Jim, because I've been talking about Romeo Doubs this entire offseason being the one. I'm super excited to see how this is going to play out and the distribution of this game, Jim. Are you pumped about this game, man?
Oh, yeah. This is another one that's going to be very exciting. Again, the over-under on this is even higher than the Kansas City-Baltimore game, 48.5 points. So we're looking at another high-scoring game. Again, there's so many superstars on both sides of the ball. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Romeo Doubs, I think, is a great flex play this weekend. And, I tend to be generally pretty nervous about starting rookies on week one. So if you got a choice between someone like Ladd McConkey or Romeo Doubs, I think I'd be inclined to start Doubs this week just to wait and see what happens with McConkey's volume and stuff. So, I do think he's a good choice for this week. There should be a lot of points to go around on both sides of the ball. And really it's just like start your studs on both these teams because they're gonna put up points, man. It's gonna be great for fantasy. I'm so excited about them doing a Friday game too, because I always thought that there was just such a huge gap between the Thursday night kickoff and those Sunday games. Just all these days you're just like, why can't there be more football? And now they put one in on Friday. I love it. So I'm excited for this one as well.
It's going to be good. Philly 2.5-point favorite here. Going to be an exciting game. Philly at home. I can't.
It's not at home. It's in Brazil.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What am I thinking? You're right. This is the Brazil game. That's right. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm glad that they're getting out doing these things. Go to Mexico, go to Brazil, get some international games going here. So that's good, man. All right, let's keep moving on here with the next matchup here. We've got Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. Again, Atlanta -3 favorite here. Russell Wilson's supposed to be getting the start. Now, again, I'm sitting Russell Wilson. We talked about when you're drafting, you want to start quarterbacks that are a little more secure. Now, he is a starter, but there's better options of Russell Wilson to start. Same with Kirk Cousins. Now, I got Kirk Cousins in a super flex league, but if you got a more solidified starter, which you should, right? If you drafted and anchor your team with an ace quarterback, you might not be starting any of these quarterbacks here. But again, another situation. What is the distribution with, Drake London, Kyle Pitts? How is this offense looking with, Pat Freiermuth? Is he going to literally take a step up? He was on our show. George Pickens, dude, I'm super excited about this one. I got a lot of buy Jan stock. Is Algier actually going to dip in, and how much in comparison to last year? Are they going to want to win? If they're going to win, you got to play buy Jan. But man, oh man, does Atlanta have a lot on the line here in regards to Drake London make or break and Kirk Cousins, trying to win with these guys. It's going to be another good one, man. And Russell Wilson trying to keep his job, right?
Yeah, and this is going to be a much lower scoring game than the first two we talked about. Right now, the over-under is 41.5 points. Pittsburgh, obviously not a lot of firepower there. The only guys I'd be comfortable in starting are Pickens and Freiermuth. That's basically the only players I want to start on the Pittsburgh side of the ball. But Atlanta, again, I'm very excited to see what this offense looks like. It's going to be a lot more high flying, open air, a lot of passing. And I think that Darnell Mooney is a dark horse to have fantasy relevance because Kirk Cousins can support a very high quality wide receiver too. I mean, when you look at, what he did with the Vikings, with Addison, he can support a wide receiver too. So I'm excited to see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, I'm all in on starting Pitts, on starting London. And I think, I think I'd be nervous about starting Cousins. This is his first game back after suffering that Achilles injury. I would not want to start him, but I think there's a lot of good options here for scoring points for Atlanta.
And of course, be careful of Warren. Like I said, was dealing with the hamstring. Jaylen Warren, be careful.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Warren.
No, I think you might be limited. So something you definitely want to be careful of there for week 1 if you're a Warren owner. Okay. All right, moving on here. Another game that's just like, I wonder what's going to happen here, but there's some fantasy relevance for sure. And I've been talking about, like, we're talking Minnesota, who's a minus 1.5 point favorite versus the Giants here. And I've been talking about this, man. Like Aaron Jones as the starter. I was hearing a report that he's saying, he's coming out saying, man, like I feel the best I've ever felt, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, please. Come on. That's just PR.
It's all it is. Yeah. Like the guy.
And he's probably going to look good. I bet you he'll look good this week. I mean, again, it's one of those things. He'll look really good for the first couple of weeks of the season, and then he's going to fall off a cliff. So, I mean, these older guys, they come into the beginning of the season, they do feel great. They feel really, really good. But then the hits start happening, and it's like, oh, crap. I'm 30 years old now. I can't take this anymore, so
absolutely. They've got, I would probably sit Addison here. He's been dealing with some injuries. I don't know what that Addison injury was, but he's been banged up, and be careful with him. Who else is there? Giants, Malik Neighbors to start. That's pretty much it. I mean,
yeah. It's again another super low scoring game. Over under is 41.5 points. You've got two terrible quarterbacks, terrible garbage quarterbacks playing. I would say either of these defenses is probably not a bad start this weekend if you want to stream your defenses. I think both of them can be good with turnovers and interceptions and fumbles. There's going to be lots of opportunities for them to score points. But yeah, I mean, I think the only players you can really start are Justin Jefferson on Minnesota's side and Malik Neighbors on New York's side. I don't want to start anyone else. Do you?
No, I don't. And this is this is going to be a big week to see just how much volume Jefferson gets. Is he going to get the volume? And if so, is this going to be sustainable with Darnold? Is he going to be able to thread the needle through double coverage? Something to definitely monitor this week heavily. Again, week 1 is so crucial in regards to setting the pace for the entire season and to see what we are going to potentially expect. That being said, there is going to be some waiver wire wonders and guys that have kind of a boom week, and it's just not sustainable. So we'll be monitoring that for you here on the channel, of course, in the Patreon group as well, patreon.com/FF Join the front lines. All right, let's go here. Jacksonville versus Miami here. Battle of Florida here. Miami, 3.5 point favorite. I think a lot of people are actually sleeping on Jacksonville. I think they're going to be better than kind of what the offseason is kind of built up. I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of in a make or break year. Also monitoring. Are we starting though, Brian Thomas Jr.? I say yes. I mean, everybody's all in on the Kirk train. I'm like, dude, I'm starting Brian Thomas, man. I'm rolling with him. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's always kind of makes me nervous to start a rookie first game of the season. But frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like Trevor Lawrence. His make or break the year was last year. He totally screwed the pooch. He got his extension, so he's going to be playing for a while longer. So good for him. But I think Miami is so considerably better than Jacksonville. And again, this is a lot of fantasy points are going to be scored here. Over under is 48.5 points. That makes me want to start everyone I can. So yeah, I'd be fine with starting Brian Thomas this weekend. But I think Miami is going to be, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I love the Miami offense. I can't wait to see what they do this year. So we'll see what happens, but it should be pretty good all around for everybody. There's a lot of points to go around here. So
yeah, that being said, I do believe Brian Thomas is the one, but if you do have a safer wide receiver, go ahead and start him for sure. Another thing to watch with this game, particularly, I'm super excited about it, is my theory that Achane is just going to be completely diluted and they're going to play more Mostert than people think. And Achane, top 10 fantasy running back, very high draft capital. I think a lot of people will be disappointed this game. We'll see. I can't wait to see how
I don't know. I think Achane's going to be great. I mean, you know what? I took him in a draft I had last night. I took him in a draft. I'm like, I'm taking the chance. I'm rolling the dice on this guy.
I'm not,
and I feel good about it. I feel good. I think he's going to be, again, this is such a great, fun offense to watch. I'm very excited to see what they can do. And you know me how I already feel about Tyreek Hill and guys like that. So I mean, it's going to be a good season for this team.
We got a low scoring game. 40.5 is the over under for the next one. New England versus Cincinnati. I believe Cincinnati's at home here. 7.5 point favorite here. And again, we talked about this. Jamar Chase possibly holding out. At the time of this recording, we're hearing that he's probably not going to play week 1, or he may. We don't know. Just be very cautious when you're starting him, of course. And, with this offense, I was reading the other day, Zach Moss is slated as the starter. Is he a true starter? Is he another phony there in this position? I don't know, man. I think Chase has a little more upside. It's something to monitor as well. And with the Patriots, what's happening here? I think Brissett is going to be starting, but who is the one here? Are they going to be leaning towards more Demario Douglas, or is it going to be the Jalen Polk show? What's happening? We know these guys were flirting with Brandon Ayuk. So are they really convinced on the situation? Like, it's weird, man. Like, you don't start your rookie quarterback in May. Why don't you just start him? You start out the journeyman Brissett, the bridge guy. Why not have confidence in your rookie quarterback and make him your franchise guy? It's a disaster here. I don't know. There's some uncertainty around this game, but definitely some fantasy relevant, sleeper fantasy relevant, especially with the Patriots here, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would stay away from any Patriot except for Ramondre Stevenson this weekend. The implied team total, I mean, you look at the implied team total, 40.5 points. That's the lowest we've talked about so far. And yet Cincinnati has a 7.5 point advantage on the spread. That means the implied team total for New England is probably under 14 points. So there's not a lot of offensive razzle dazzle here. Again, it's just not a very good offense. So I think as far as New England goes, I would not start any receiver from the Patriots. Just keep them all on your bench. We'll see what the usage is. We'll move on from there.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati, again, it looks to be in a good situation here. This looks like an easy win for them. And I'm okay with starting Zach Moss. I'm okay. And as far as Chase Brown goes, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's it.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't able to take the starting job away from Mixon last year. He's
Right.
not been unable to separate himself in training camp this year from Zach Moss.
I know.
I don't know if he's any good. I don't know. I have not taken hardly any shares of Chase Brown.
I've got none. I've got zero. I've got 0 shares in Chase.
Yeah, but I do have Zach Moss, and I think I'd be comfortable starting Zach Moss in this game. Again, if this is a game that becomes a blowout, they're just going to go to the ground game. That's going to benefit probably Zach Moss. He's going to get a lot of work, so I feel comfortable starting him as my 2 or my flex if that's where you have him on your team. So.
We got a lot more games to go, especially the next one I'm super excited on. But before we do, guys, if you want to get in on the action, man, mybookie.ag, go create an account right now. Use code FFC. And listen to this, Jim, 100% match deposit up to $1,000. So if you put in 100, they'll match it for you. Now is the time to go get your account set up. Spreads, get in on the action, bets, everything, guys. This is the site I use, mybookie.ag. 100% match deposit. With that code, make sure you guys use code FFC, mybookie.ag. Go create an account right now. They've also got a survivor pool. You want to get in on that. It's a lot of fun. mybookie.ag, FFC. Go create an account. This is the site I use. This is a site I trust, and I've been playing on it for years. Jim, I'm getting in on the action, man. We're talking about all this, so you might as well get in on it, right? That's how I look at it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm excited, man. All right, next one here I'm excited about a lot. This is the one I will be tuning into. I'll have it on. Do they even do PVRs anymore? I'm going to PVR this game. I want to watch this game, but we're talking Arizona versus Buffalo. Buffalo being the 6.5 point favorite at home. But the reason I'm watching, there's a lot going on here. My big reason is Keon Coleman. And we talked about this before the season. It's like a couple of weeks ago or whatever, where Mac Hollins is slated ahead of Keon, which is ludicrous. I don't believe anything these coaches are saying. This is one of those games where show me, right? Because you draft Trey Benson in the 3rd round, top running back prospect, leads the league in college broken tackles. He's amazing. And then you're telling me that, what is his name? James Conner is the bell cow. I don't believe that, man. 1,000-yard rushing season, was a backup to Le'Veon Bell back in 2017. So, this is the future. And they're saying, oh, well, Benson's our future. Same thing with what's going on with the Patriots, with their quarterback. This is our future quarterback, but we're going to start someone else. BS, man. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I think week 1 is going to be the Connor show. but will he be able to keep his job? Not for long. This is going to be the game to watch. I'm all over this game.
Yeah, this should be really exciting, and in Arizona too. I think their offense is going to be surprisingly good in this game. I mean, obviously a nice over under as far as points scored, but Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride and I mean, there's a lot of good offensive firepower on both sides of the ball, and I think it's going to be very exciting. I think Josh Allen's going to have a huge game. He's going to be monstrous. So I'm really happy with that. And I'd be like I said, I'm nervous about starting Keon Coleman week 1. I just want to see what his usage is before I put him into the starting lineup. So that's why I'm saying, Romeo Doubs, I would place in ahead of him for this weekend in your flex, but this is going to be, an exciting game. It's going to be a great game. I'm excited to see how all these players go on the, this weekend. So
I've got Coleman stock in all my leagues. I'm rolling him out. I'm just rolling him out because I have that conviction that this guy is the Diggs replacement, that he's going to be the alpha on this team. I'm just going to roll him out, Ryder, off to the moon or whatever.
Ride or die, right?
This is it, man. This is it. I'm all in. I've drafted him. I've invested in him. So I'm gonna go through with it. So Keon Coleman, you better, serve it right. All right, here we go, man. Next one here, Houston minus 3.5 point favorite versus Indianapolis here. And again, another exciting game. We got Indy at home and they're the dog here. Another game I'm definitely going to be watching because all of this hype with Anthony Richardson is like, okay, let's see what you got, Richardson. Are you worth a top 5 quarterback position? I believe you're not. 49 points is the over-under here. Obviously, very high scoring. Another thing that I'm going to be watching very closely is I've got all my eggs in the Nico Collins is going to bust basket. They actually ended up naming Diggs the team captain there, one of the team captains. So, okay, Diggs round 2, that is going to be the bust for the ages, Jim. I'm not really sold on Nico here, but this is going to be an exciting game. Who is the one in Houston? We're going to get some clarity here. And is Pittman going to do anything? And is Jonathan Taylor going to do anything? How is it going to look near the goal line with him and Richardson? Dude, this game is so fantasy relevant. I'm pumped up, dude. I cannot contain my excitement about this one.
Yeah. And while I do think that Nico was overdrafted to where he's going, I think he's still going to have a fine year. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns to go around on this Houston offense. I've already said I think CJ Stroud can hit 40 touchdowns this year. That's going to be good for everybody. So, but I'm not surprised that Diggs was named the captain. And I think that Diggs is probably the wide receiver 1 on this team. You don't spend that kind of money to bring in a guy like Stephon Diggs and not make him your 1. So, that from the very beginning, I thought that, but still, I mean, this is one where you want to start everybody you can. I mean, this is just this is such a great matchup. And I think Pittman's going to be fine because Downs is not playing this weekend. So, he really is the primary receiver on this team. But I'm very, very interested to see what happens here at all points of the ball. I don't think I would want to have either of these defenses starting this weekend, but this should be a great game to watch. Man, so many good games. I mean, these are crazy good matchups this week, especially for fantasy.
1 o'clock's going to be rough because I'll be going back and forth. I'll be watching the Atlanta-Pittsburgh game. Then I'll be tuning back over to the Buffalo-Arizona game. I'll be checking out the Texans game. I'll be all over the place.
Oh, see, for me, I'm just on Red Zone, man. I'm just watching Red Zone.
Fair enough. And then I'll be going to this game as well, Tennessee, because I've got Tajay stock. And again, we got to watch the usage. Again, going into the season, it looks like Pollard is going to be starting. So obviously start Pollard. I say start Spears as well. And here's the thing, right? Another situation where you drafted Rome Odunze, you drafted Keenan Allen, you drafted DJ Moore. It's like, okay, everyone's going to end up starting Keenan Allen and Moore. But again, now you're just playing that wide receiver roulette we've been talking about so much here. It's going to be wild for you guys. Again, I'm not taking part in this at all. You guys can go ahead and play, a wide receiver roulette with your 2nd or 3rd round pick. I'm not doing it. But again, Chicago, the 4-point favorite here, which is surprising. I mean, they are at home, but I mean, Levis, they're saying he's going to be Josh Allen 2.0, whether that's going to happen or not, is something to see, but he's got the weapons. Calvin Ridley is a definite must start. Again, Chicago, I don't know. They looked explosive in the preseason, but that's preseason.
Yeah,
so
but that's the preseason. Yeah.
I'm not sleeping on
wait till Caleb faces a real defense that's out to get him, man. it's not going to be so easy. So
I like Tennessee here on the spread, man. They're the 4-point dog. I mean, they could win this game outright. I'm not sold on the Bears being that good. A rookie quarterback coming in, still trying to figure out their identity. Their running back situation's like, meh. I'm in on Tennessee on this one, man. And I'm wearing the hat here. We had Tajay Spears on the show, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm going Tennessee with this one, Jim. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is not one where I'd want to bet on who's going to win this game because there's so many question marks. Clearly Chicago is loaded offensively. They've got a lot of offensive skill players. I don't think I would start Rome Odunze this week. I don't think I have the guts to start him with the other, with both DJ Moore and Keenan Allen being there. But I think there is a lot of, this is pretty good for the over-under as far as there being a lot of fantasy points scored. I am all in on Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley's a great option to start this weekend. But again, Will Levis, Caleb Williams, I'd rather have him on my bench. I would not start him on this game. Just got to wait and see. We got to wait and see how these guys play because both of them are untested basically with this offense. So,
Yeah. All right. Next,
you hope for the best, though.
Next match here, Carolina versus the Saints. Saints being a 4-point favorite at home. Carolina, another offense to watch. A lot of people have Deontay Johnson stock. He's a must start. I'd hold off on Xavier Legette here. Rashid Shaheed, if you've got, I'd probably watch the first week. Again, we talked about this, Jim, in the offseason. Him being an outside speed guy, going to be very good.
And he's also been dealing with that toe injury. I think he's okay. But that would make me also not want to start him this weekend. I'd keep him on the bench. Yeah.
Be careful there. Olave, a must start here. Derek Carr and Bryce Young definitely must sit. You should have better quarterbacks in the situation. But that being said, like I said, I think Bryce Young is going to surprise a lot of people. He's a mobile quarterback. He is, what's different between him and Jayden Daniels? It's like, you got this mobile.
Jayden Daniels is way bigger.
yeah, but still, these guys are both great prospects, both very, mobile and both young guys. And very, very, and again, he looked good in preseason. Good look good, poise in the pocket, moving really, really well. But again, what I'm saying is you got two young mobile quarterbacks here, whereas Jayden Daniels' ADP was a lot higher. What has he done on the field, right? Like, give Bryce Young another chance. They've improved that offense. All I'm saying, man, is I like Daniels more, obviously, but I'm just saying, there could be something there. I could be wrong, but just watch the situation here. We'll see how he does week one. He gets better. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Bryce Young this year. I'm rooting for the dog here. He's an underdog.
Yeah. The thing is right now, this is projected to be a very low scoring game. Over under is 41.5. So there's not a lot of fantasy points to be scored here.
Right.
I'm not sure there's anybody on Carolina that I'd really want to start. Deontay Johnson's been dealing with an injury. You got Thielen there. You got Legette. I don't think I would want to start any Carolina Panthers this weekend. I just don't think it's a very good very good play for New Orleans. It'd be Olave and Kamara, and I think that's it. I think that's the only real guys I'd be comfortable starting. Everyone else, just keep them on your bench. Let's see what happens. If you're really desperate, I think maybe Deontay, but you got to watch the injury reports to make sure he's playing again. I don't even know if he's gotten back to practice yet. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah. Next one here. Oh boy. Will I be watching this one? Vegas versus the Chargers. -3.5 favorite is the Chargers here. Man, oh man. Do I have some fantasy invested here? Don't be a donkey. Draft Vlad McConkey. I'm starting him. I believe he's the one. I think he's going to get a ton of volume. I think Justin Herbert's hungry to bounce back strong this year. He likes to force feed certain players. I like him. No interest in Gus Edwards. Now, mind you guys, if invested in Gus Edwards, go ahead and start him. I think he's going to get a touchdown near the goal line this week, but I'm just not sold on him long-term. Again, Zamir White, 100% start him. I'm all in on Zamir. You'll shed a tear if you don't start Zamir. He's gonna get work, man. I've been reading reports. This guy's a monster. He's a beast. Again, I'm excited, dude. Obviously, quarterbacks for Raiders, you got to sit him. Adams, you got to start him. Jacoby Myers, if in deeper leagues you want to start him, go ahead, maybe a flex play. But man, oh man, this is the game, dude. I'll be watching. I'm glad it's at 4:05 because that gives me a break after the one a little bit. There's so many 1 o'clock games that kind of hone in on this game a little bit more,
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of underestimating this game because the over-under is just 40.5 points. So they're projecting a very low-scoring game. And I can kind of understand that. People don't know really what the Los Angeles offense is going to look like. Again, they are going to be run heavy. So, I think Gus Edwards is a good start. J.K. Dobbins, I think, is a risky start. He's been playing and practicing all preseason. So he's probably going to have a role there. I think Zamir White is a great choice to start. But I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot of offensive razzle dazzle here. But I think both these teams are being underestimated for their offenses right now. So, I'm okay. I'm okay if you want to start Ladd McConkey. Yeah, I think that's a good play. Deontay Johnson. Yes. I don't think I would start Jacoby Myers. Did I say it correctly? Did I say it correctly there?
No, Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers. I think I'd keep him on my bench this week, and as well as all the other Los Angeles receivers. Maybe Parham. I'd start Parham in a flex if I was forced to. But I want to see what these how these teams pass the ball, because I think there is opportunity there. There's good quarterbacks here. I mean, I think, Justin Herbert, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I think there's upside that's not being captured in these over-under lines right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I got a new rhyme. If you want to start J.K. Dobbins, you'll be flying away with the Robins. There you go. Get it? Like you're flying away, your team is done. Like get it? J.K. Dobbins, Robins.
Yeah, but he's healthy right now, so you can start him now. But he'll probably tear his ACL week 2. That's what's going to happen. But while he's healthy, he could be pretty good, and I think they're going to focus on the run for the Chargers. So, anyway, yeah.
Speaking of birds here, not Robins, we're talking Seahawks here. Denver versus Seattle here. Now, Seattle, 6-point favorite here at home. I was just reading right now, this is a bit of a reach here. You're not starting him this week, but Troy Franklin, they're saying they're going to start. I know he didn't do well in preseason and camp, but they're saying he's going to be a long-term solution for them. Bo Nix getting the start. Troy Franklin, Bo Nix playing college, so he is probably a waiver wire week 1 consideration. Potentially. But again, when you're looking at starters here, something to watch here. Audric Estime, Javonte Williams, be watching that situation closely in regards to distribution. Javonte looked good in preseason. And then again, what are we doing? Cortland Sutton here, he's a must start. Seattle, again, you're in that situation again with the wide receivers. You have to start DK Metcalf, but is it going to be more Lockett this week? Is it going to be more Jackson Smith? JSN show? It's going to be a disaster. Then I'm not really sold on Geno Smith. You as well, not a fan of Geno Smith. And I don't know, man. I don't care for this matchup as much.
Well, I got to say, if you're going to start, if you're going to stream a defense, I think the Seattle defense is an awesome start this week against Bo Nix in his first NFL game. I think there's going to be real opportunity there for turnovers, and it's going to be low scoring, which is also good when you're playing a defense. Seattle now, Tyler Lockett has been dealing with an injury. So if Lockett doesn't play, I think you're good to start both DK Metcalf and JSN. I think those are both good starts. The backfields, Kenneth Walker, Javonte Williams, obviously start those. I think the only other player I would start in Denver besides Javonte is Cortland Sutton. That's it. Probably as a flex. I would not start him in your 1 or 2. But this should be a good game. I think Seattle's going to be better than everyone thinks. So I see why they're 6-point favorites, but there's not going to be a lot of points scored as far as Denver's concerned. I think it's going to be very, very low scoring for them. Kind of very similar to what, New England looks like right now for their implied team total. So don't expect much from Denver.
Or Bo Nix could come out and tear it up. Some of these rookie guys, Caleb Williams could come out and absolutely just tear it up. We're not sure. You don't know what you don't know.
It's welcome to the NFL, rookie. Come on. I mean, they're gonna punish him and they are gonna torment him the whole game because it's his first game. So.
All right, 4 more games to go. Washington versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, the 3-point favorite here. And again, when you're looking at this home team advantage for Tampa Bay, I guess that's the main reason they are, the favorite. Then you got the rookie, 43.5 is the over-under here. Jayden Daniel versus Baker Mayfield. I don't see any major key injuries here. You got to start McLaurin. Again, we're going to have to see if McLaurin's going to be the man. I think it's a little early to start Ben Sinnott there, the tight end, but I don't know. He's going to be a guy that's going to be an interesting prospect, but do not be surprised if you get a surprise touchdown from some of these guys. And some of these guys that we've been talking about in the offseason, these sleepers get, like we talked about that New England game, maybe a DeMario Douglas touchdown. So you're going to see a lot of stuff. Is it maintainable? Is it sustainable? That's the big question here. Obviously, Rachaad White is start here, Jim, for Tampa Bay. Really interesting to see if Bucky Irving gets some work as well. And Brian Robinson should be starting here for the Washington over sucky Austin Eckler. Remember, Austin Eckler was a second overall pick last year. Now nobody cares about him, and I told you so. That's it. I had to throw that in there. That's all.
Of course. You got to rub that in. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think I would want to start Jaden Daniels this week. Tampa Bay has a pretty good defense. This looks like it's going to be a pretty low scoring game as well. I would look for, I think Jaden Daniels, probably because of the rushing yards, he's probably going to be fine for fantasy, but he is kind of a risky pick for me. On Tampa Bay's side, obviously Mike Evans, probably Chris Godwin, Rachaad White. I can't think of really anyone else I would want to start this week on that team.
No, no one.
And then for Washington, McLaurin, I think McLaurin and Daniels would probably be the two guys I would start. I would keep everyone else on the bench. That backfield is a mess, between Robinson and Eckler and Daniels.
Yeah.
You're splitting it three ways. There's not going to be a lot of volume to any of them. So I'd be inclined to just sit all of them. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at with that one anyway.
Next matchup, Dallas versus Cleveland. Cleveland at home, 2.5-point favorite here. Now, this is a little surprising. Dallas being the dog, and it's a 41.5, so they're not expecting a major high-scoring game here. Not really any key injuries other than Brandon Cook's been banged up. I wouldn't start him anyway. You got to start CeeDee Lamb fresh off the contract, and you got to start, who else is there? I wouldn't even start Rico Dowdle. Everyone's saying Rico Dowdle is the guy. But Zeke's going to eat. Zeke's annoying. Like, he's not good enough to be a huge top 10, 15, 20 running back, but he's good enough to eat into the volume. And who knows what they're going to do with Dalvin Cook here. But everyone promoting Rico Dowdle, draft Dowdle. I'm not sold, man. I'm not.
This guy's Dowdle's never done it. He's been in the league for 4 years or something like that. He's never done anything. So I don't think it's going to change this year. And I think Zeke is probably going to get all the goal line work. They're going to put Zeke on the goal line, so he's not going to have any value there as far as Rico goes. But this is a battle between two really good defenses. So you're right. I think points are going to be really hard to come by. Deshaun Watson, I'm just completely out on the guy. I just have zero faith that he can play anymore. And they said he's had this shoulder injury, and that kind of explains why he's been so bad, is he's just got this chronic shoulder injury. So he might be done. And so do you really want to start Amari Cooper? I guess I would start Amari Cooper. I would start Jerome Ford, because Chubb's not playing.
Njoku's questionable, by the way, Jim. I heard David Njoku's undisclosed.
Yeah, right, and he's questionable, right? So you gotta watch that. I would probably start Njoku if he's playing, but you got to watch the injury reports for that one to make sure he is going to get out there. But yeah, there's not a lot of fantasy points here, over under 40.5 points. This is a very low scoring game. So just minimize your exposure on either of these teams outside of the stars.
And then we got our 8:00 game, man. This is going to be a banger. We were talking about this on the phone yesterday. Man, oh man. How do you even pick a winner here? But Detroit at home, you got to give them the favor here, 3.5-point favorite. And this is going to be a high scoring game according to Vegas, 51 points. Dude, this is going to be exciting. Jared Goff, a must start. Matt Stafford, I wouldn't start. Some people have him as their starter. Most people have him as a backup. There should be better options there. This is going to be very interesting to see on both sides of the ball, right? With Jahmyr Gibbs, is he 100% with that hamstring? Again, we talked about him starting week 1. Jameson Williams, I'm hearing that he's going to get involved more. He's really hyped up. He says, I want to have over 1,000 receiving yards or something and over just a crap ton of receptions. He is touchdowns. I think he said double-digit touchdowns. So I don't know, man. Could there be dilution with the Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs? I still see Williams as the 4, but if they get him more involved, this could hurt Laporta, man. It could hurt Amon-Ra. You never know.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Jameson Williams is the outside speed guy. He'll get some volume, but these guys are usually sub 80 targets for the whole year. He'll make some big splash plays, some huge receptions that'll make the highlight reel. But I don't really consider him a startable fantasy asset. So
not yet, no.
He will have big games, but overall, you're not going to want to start him on a week-to-week basis because he's going to be way too inconsistent. But I'm not worried about the dilution at all. Laporta is going to be great. Amon-Ra is going to be great. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be epic this year. So there is so much fantasy goodness. I'd start Montgomery on this game. I think there's going to be opportunity for Montgomery, and start everyone you can on both these teams because there's going to be a lot of points scored. And on the other side, Cooper Kupp's healthy. He's looking good. Puka Nacua is healthy. He was a full participant in practice earlier this week. Yep. So he's good to go.
Blake Corum and Kyren, man, that's going to be something to watch.
I think Corum, I got a lot of Corum, and I'm keeping him on my bench this week because we don't know what his usage is going to be yet. But Kyren, yeah, absolutely start him. But I gotta wait and see before I'm ready to put Corum in. He needs to get a certain amount of volume for me to be comfortable putting him in. But he'll probably have a couple of big plays as well. So,
man, oh man, it's gonna be a good game, man. It's gonna be.
I'm very excited. Yeah, 50.5 points. That's the highest scoring game of the week. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that, man. I would hate to see like a Raiders versus Seattle for the Sunday night game. Like, I'm just so glad it's like two good teams that have some potential this year. So I think Detroit more upside for sure. And we got our Monday game, brother. Monday game to wrap this up. Again, guys, make sure you guys do join the Patreon group, patreon.com/FF Counselor for in-season waiver wire, exclusive videos, and so much more. Amazing community. So I'm looking here, and I've got here the 49ers minus 4.5 point favorite at home. Ayuk, fresh off this contract, re-signing. Aaron Rodgers coming back. So many key moments here, key things to watch. Is CMC going to be healthy after that calf strain? What's his usage going to be? Breece Hall, is Braylon Allen going to get some goal line work? Is Garrett Wilson connecting with Aaron Rodgers? So many question marks with this game, but man, oh man, we get to sit down under a microscope and watch it on a Monday night. No interruptions. Breece Hall, baby. CMC, two fantasy running back beasts going at it. Man, I'm going to be popcorn's out for this one, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, this one looks to be a lower scoring game, though, and I can see why, because both the San Francisco defense and the Jets defense are among the best in the NFL. So, Again, the over-under is only 43.5 points. This is a lower scoring game. And so because of that, you got to be really picky and choosy about who you're going to start. And I think on the New York side, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, of course. Those guys are starts. I think everyone else probably should just stay on your bench for now. Don't start them this week. And then on San Francisco, man, I mean, Ayuk, Debo, CMC, those are the guys I would start. I mean, Kittle, I guess. Kittle you'd have to start as well. But again, this is implying a very low score, so not a lot of touchdowns here. And so that's really going to limit the upside of any of these players, especially when you're splitting it four ways like you're always doing it in San Francisco. Right. So I would be inclined to stay away from these guys. I did not draft a lot of Niners this past year. I basically steered clear of them the whole time. It's because of situations like this. I'm sure that two of those San Francisco players are going to do great this week. Two will be busts, but which two, I don't know. So
nobody knows.
I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to do that.
Well, that's what makes fantasy so exciting. So, guys, let us know what you guys think. Again, you can go to each one of these games. I've time-stamped the exact game if you want to go back and listen. But, man, oh, man, it's going to be exciting. Football is back. Make sure you guys are glued here. We're going to be doing a recap show this week as well. I think we're going to do that Monday. We do a waiver wire show. I'll be breaking news here on the shorts and reels and, regular news. There's going to be a ton of stuff going on. So make sure you guys do have this bell turned on. And, of course, join that Patreon group, guys, patreon.com/FF Counselor for in-season. Jim, are you pumped up, man? How's the energy for you now? Like, we are so close tonight, man. It starts tonight.
It's like I'm exhausted and excited at the same time, man. I'm just, I'm tired of drafting. I want the season to start, and it's time to get going now. Let's go.
Dude, we've been talking since like January about this season. Yes. Now it's the tire meets the road. Finally, this is it. This is it, guys. It's go time. So smash it, tap it, slap it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show for your drive. And football is back. Jim, I'm pumped. Where's Breaking Brad? What does Breaking Brad have to say?
We now have breaking news.
He doesn't.
Yeah, now breaking news because the NFL kickoff is tonight, guys. Tonight. That's the news.
There it is, man. Thanks, Jim. Energy's high. We'll talk soon, everybody. Have yourself a good day, and football is back. We're out. Have a good one.